guys, welcome to today's video. If you're paying attention to my Vlogmas calendar, changing things up a little bit again, as I tend to do, today we're going to be actually talking about my 2023 bookish reading goals, doing a recap on that, and then diving into my 2024 goals. I just barely posted on Saturday a video for my personal and business goals over on my personal channel. If you're interested in that, I just barely finished filming that. I just love goal setting, honestly. So today, like I said, we're gonna dive into my 2023 goals. I do a video on this every Vlogmas. And if you go back to last year's video, you'll notice that I definitely tweaked some of the goals. I tweaked a few of them right before the year started, and then as the year was going on, I realized some of them were not the best. So I changed a few things up. But we'll quickly go over my goals from the year. So last year I set some goals for BookTube and I set some goals for reading. And then this year I've decided I'm going to do some reading and book goals, as well as share some BookTube channel aspirations maybe. So let's start with my reading goals for 2023. The first goal, also I put them in my binder. I print them out, put them in a binder, look at them every couple days. Then I can be reminded of my goals and trying to actually achieve them instead of forgetting about them. Been there. Also, my throat is a little sore, so sorry about that. Okay, first reading goal was to complete the 2023 Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which as the host of this challenge, I feel like I should try to finish it every year. And I technically haven't done that yet because I haven't read December's book, but my book is really short, so I definitely foresee myself completing that one. Oh, sometimes I set dumb goals for myself. I had keep my TBRs to a 7-book maximum because I wanted to try making smaller TBRs, but guys, I like making big ones. So I did this for 2 out of the 12 months and then just jumped off the train and was like, nah, not even gonna try for that one. I wanted to include 1 NetGalley book on my monthly TBR. And then I ended up just changing it and being like, okay, I just want to read all the books that I have from NetGalley and then be done with NetGalley because I never read ebooks. I have learned that. So I didn't succeed on this one. I still have some NetGalley books that I need to read. I think maybe 10 to 12. I don't actually think this is an official goal of mine, but my plan is just to finish up with those books and then not request any books from NetGalley. I needed me a physical book. Then I wanted to read 7 classics from my list. So do I have a video? I don't think I officially have a video, but I have a list where I have 50 classics I wanted to read before I die. I haven't died yet. This was mostly made based off of books that I own and some of your guys' recommendations. I wouldn't say this is 50 classics everybody needs to read. Also because some that I would put on that list I'd already read. So I have this list. It's in my pocket here, and I did read 7 of them. I read My Cousin Rachel, Emily of Deep Valley, The Outsiders, Moby Dick, I cheated a little bit on that one, A Room of One's Own, Pat of Silverbush, and Wives and Daughters. So I checked off 7 more books from that list. Then I wanted to post at least 5 videos that are more creative in content, and I think I did this. I had a few Ella Montgomery videos at the beginning of the year, and I don't remember what I all did, but I checked all those off anyway. Then my original goal said read 7 books that are 500 plus pages, and I realized a lot of the books that I had intended for this goal were actually 490 pages, or apparently they try to cut books off just before 500 pages, and I didn't want to not read those ones just because they weren't quite 500 pages, so I adjusted it to 450 plus pages, and I definitely did that. There was more than 7 that I read, so that's good. I actually quite enjoyed a few really big books this year. Then I wanted to read 10 books by Enclave Publishing, and as of right now I've read 8. I don't think I'll be able to get to 10. I mean, I could. I have some ebooks. But once again, they're ebooks, so I probably will just leave it at 8, but that is still a good number to me. It's still more than I think I'd read the year before. I really do enjoy Enclave's books. And then I wanted to read 10 nonfiction books, which I did. I wanted to break up with a library for a season, and I did that in January and February. Then I had a list of 12 books I wanted to read in 2023 and a list of, so there was 12 fiction and 12 nonfiction, 2 different lists, and I still have books on both of those. So they were like mildly successful, but some of them I just continued to avoid. So that's a very brief wrap up of my 2023 goals. Honestly, I like setting goals more than recapping. So I have a really long list of goals for 2024. I went for a little bit more variety, I think. Oh yeah, and I also did set some booktube goals for 2023, but I think I'm going to skip recapping those. Mildly successful. Not very successful, but I have changed how I want to do that this year. So let's just get into this. I have a whole section that is currently on Notion that I will end up printing out yet of bookish, which are like reading and channel goals and aspirations. And I don't think I organized this very well. It's a little bit mixed together. So once again, the first thing I want to do is complete the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge for 2024. I have not like gone in and preset which books I want to read. I'm just picking that as I go. Each of the books I choose will be in my TBR for the month. So that one should be fairly successful. And to me, it even counts if I DNF a book because I try to read from my shelf, and if I decide that book is not for me, then I can just get rid of it. I also want to read 3+ C.S. Lewis books, excluding Narnia. I also want to read some Narnia as well. But if I didn't include that, I think I would have just checked off the 3 as soon as I read the Narnia books and then not read the other ones. So I want to do that. Later in the fall, I want to create an outline for my year 2 DIY literature degree. So I'm going to continue working on my year 1 and then share an outline in a video for year 2. I want to do 3+ read like a booktuber videos. I've seen a number of people do them different ways. Krista, I know, did one a month this last year, and I want to do this in a way where I read like some booktubers that I have a number of booktubers that I've followed for years that read very differently than I do, but I stay subscribed to their channels because I like their personality or something about them keeps me coming back. And so I thought I would watch their favorite video, their favorite books video after they have them come out, generally in like January, and then pick a book or so from there and then do a vlog reading that. So that's what I want to do there. I will probably do more than 3, but I thought I would start with a goal of 3. I think every year I put this on my list, although I didn't last year, and that is to read less books. I want to make sure I'm having like that there's not a number of books that is stressing me out. I want to make sure I'm having time in my life to do other things, and so I just put this on the list almost every year. I've toyed with this idea. I don't know if I'm going to do it. It's on my list right now. Read a book a day in February. So I know September is shorty September, where people read short books and try to read a book a day. I thought maybe doing it in February would be better, but the more I think about it, actually maybe September would be better for me, because in September I will be living somewhere else and have less friends. So maybe I'll just read a book a day 1 month in the year, and then that way I can be flexible when I do it. I'll adjust that. Oh yes, and I do finish up my NetGalley books, so need to work on that. Then I need to seriously purge my physical TBR. I was hoping to move 100 or less unread books. So books that you see here are my unread books. I don't know if I can 100 or less. That seems a little bit unattainable, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to be reading my fiction TBR, which I've already shared a video sharing the 12 fiction books that I want to read. I want to do a major clean out unhaul of my read books, which are upstairs. So I'm going to do a video on that yet. I want to focus on only putting books that I own on my monthly TBRs in order to help me clear out my books here. So instead of putting library books on there, not that I won't read library books, but I want to try to focus as much as possible on my own books. I'm going to be creating a new reading journal. So this reading journal I created like almost 2 years ago now, and I've been using it ever since, and it's almost full. So I'm going to be making a new one, and it will be up on Amazon for people that want to print it out, or a digital copy will be up in a shop of mine once it's done. I haven't started that yet, but that's a goal for probably the beginning of the year. I just had an announcement video sharing that I'm going to be doing an Agatha Christie book club in the month, or in the year. Every month we'll be reading a different book. So I shared that last week. That's going to be in my Patreon. I want to make more printables for Patreon. So I'm going to share any specific ideas right now, but I have a few. So I want to add those to my Patreon. My plan for this channel is to post 1 to 3 videos a week. So I want to keep posting Monday and Thursday ideally, and then possibly also Saturdays. I guess I'll go into this next goal and then it kind of relates. So I also want to try out some different video series, and in that I want to have more like viewer created content. So in my community tab and in my newsletter, I'm going to be asking you guys different things like your favorite books in a certain genre or of a certain time period or different things, and I want to create videos in that. So there's a little bit more interaction. Right now it's a lot of me making videos and you guys responding in the comments, but I think it'd be fun to have some videos where it's kind of like both of our contributions. So I want to do more of that. And then I also wrote down, like, don't be afraid to make videos that aren't top performing, like something like tag videos. I don't do very often here, partly because they don't perform well, but I think I'm just gonna kind of throw that out the window and go ahead and do them anyway. So I think if I'm gonna do like a tag video, that would be like a Saturday type video. And then there might be a break. I might take a break from posting when we move. Ideally I wouldn't, but I'm not gonna say that I'll be organized enough to not take a break. Oh, of course, I'm gonna jump in here now because right after I turned off the camera, I remembered another, like, I don't know if it's a goal because it's once again just an idea that's simmering, but I want to kind of share it and hear maybe your guys' thoughts. I would kind of like to start either a video series on here, like almost like a podcast type series where, I don't know, sharing different like bookish news. Like after I watched Haunting in Venice, which is apparently based off of Halloween Party, which is Agatha Christie's story, or like one of her books, I really wanted a place to rant about it. And so then I've been thinking about some kind of podcast type thing where just sharing like little reading updates or ranting about movies that are apparently based off of books that aren't, and that kind of thing. So it's whatever that is, that's an idea that's simmering, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Like, is that something you would like to see? It'd be kind of fun to have like a regular co-host for something like that, but then that means like actually having a schedule and being able to coordinate with someone. And I have an idea. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts so you can help me work this through. Okay, now back to my other goals. Okay, this one's exciting and I really wanted to do it in January, but I've put off too many things for January. I think my January is already too full. So this is also one of those things that might make more sense to do after we move, but I would really like to host a free reading retreat. So that would be mostly here on YouTube. I was thinking like, I don't know what I'm thinking yet, like reading sprints and different online chat stuff and giveaways, and I don't know. It's percolating, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it, but I want to do one at some point in the year. I also would like to do monthly reading sprints here on my channel. These would be live, possibly on a weekend. It depends when Jared is available to make sure kids aren't being loud. But it's something that I would like to do because it's a little bit more community building. It's a little bit more real and natural and authentic. And so it's something I want to do. I also would like, this kind of goes against my other goal, I would kind of like to buy and read my most anticipated releases when they come out. Of course, then that would mean more books that I own that I haven't read yet. So I want to be picky. It's not going to be every book that are on my anticipated releases list, but maybe some of them. And the last book, or the last goal that I currently have on my list is to do more giveaways. Last year, I think it was, I did a giveaway a month, and that was really fun. And then this year I've done barely any, so next year I want to do more. I just want to give back to the community because you guys have done so much for me, and so expect more giveaways. And that is currently all I have for goals. Like I said, these might get tweaked a bit. If you guys have reading goals for the year, leave them in the comments. Sometimes those inspire me to add more goals to my list or maybe tweak my goals a little bit. I always appreciate hearing from you guys. And once again, I will be back tomorrow with another video.